I guess I have to do this. Hello, this is Sutekh. Hi, Sutekh. It's Brian. Hello? Yeah, it's me. Can you hear me? No, I'm just kidding. I can't come to the mobile telephone right now. So please, leave a message after the doctor's scream. Hi, Sutekh. About the last review. Damn. Now we'll never find out if he knew he was the season-ending villain. Hi everyone, welcome back to You Know Who. I'm your host, Brian Hines. Well, we're here, the season finale. Can the Doctor take on the enormous anthropomorphic god known as Sutekh? Or will the viewers get their face shoved into this episode and told, bad, you're a bad boy? Because the episode's a piece of... Well, anyway, this is Doctor Who, Empire of Death. As Susan Triad releases the dust of death, a spray of sand that turns anyone it touches into ash, Mel pulls the Doctor away. Kate and Unit open fire on Sutekh and Harriet, but to no avail. As the fatal dust storm envelops London, Mel somehow outraces it on her moped. She and the Doctor get back to Unit headquarters even as Ruby's family is turned to dust. They get to the time window and the Doctor rather casually dismisses Ruby's bodyguard.
Time membrane failing.
You get out, Bunker 17 now.
That actress had a character name and a line in the last episode. Now she's just casually sent to her death by the Doctor of all people? I mean, what happened behind the scenes here? Hello, I'm Russell T. Davies. Congratulations on getting the part. We'll set you up in Legend of Ruby Sunday, and then we're going to have a really fun couple of scenes with you in the finale, and you saved Ruby's life. There's even potential for a reoccurring character. Hey, maybe a future companion. Oh, thank you, Mr. Davies. I really feel like I have a handle on this character. So much so that I have some notes. You're open to rewrites, aren't you? Note number 1, the character needs to be edgy. Says she should constantly be using slur words for people based on their gender, sexuality, and ethnicity. Well, I wasn't Australian. I just couldn't do a British accent that more. Oh! The Doctor walks into the TARDIS in the playback. Except it's not his TARDIS, it's the memory TARDIS, as seen in the recent Tales of the TARDIS miniseries. Since the time window is focused on Ruby, she focuses her thoughts on the TARDIS, charging it up, making it more real. But Sutekh and Harriet arrive in the actual TARDIS. Once, the Doctor defeated Sutekh by sending him forward in time, but in reality, the Osiris god attached itself to the TARDIS, and he has been traveling with the Doctor ever since. Makes you wonder about all those times the TARDIS seemed to act sentient, huh? Now in full control of the TARDIS, Sutekh learned of the Doctor's granddaughter, Susan, and made a trap just for the Doctor. Every time the TARDIS would land, he created a Susan Triad on that world and inserted her into reality. They are now acting as his angels of death, spreading that dust across the universe. But the Doctor wants to know, why is he still alive? Sutekh has no reason to spare him. The Doctor, Mel, and Ruby enter the memory TARDIS. As it dematerializes, dust spreads across Earth. The Doctor literally ties this TARDIS together with memory rope, similar to his memory gloves from the church on Ruby Road. Ruby still doesn't understand. How did Sutekh use the TARDIS to create Susan Triad? And the Doctor begins to explain how the perception filter on the TARDIS works.
So it doesn't get noticed, it just sits there kind of unseen, because it casts a field around it at 66.7 meters exactly.
73 yards.
How do you know that?
Ask her! Ask Ruby how she knows about metric conversion, because really it's only a big deal when you're coming and going from America. We're backwards here, I know. Is Ruby's mother secretly a Yankee? And thus Ruby inherently knows about metric conversion. It all makes sense now. Sutekh used the TARDIS's perception filter to create a person that no one would notice didn't belong. She was just slotted into everyday life, fully formed and sentient. But because the Doctor kept returning to Earth, that Susan Triad kept getting reinforced and went from being the minor character she was in all the other stories this season to an important famous figure in London's tech scene. The Earth is dying because Sutekh used the Doctor to create his empire.
Every world that I ever stood upon. All dead. And Skyro.
The Daleks are dead.
Everything is dead.
Pontificate. We had a good run.
You're getting mud on my carpets!
Daleks require static electricity to power our travel machines.
Well, that's a convenient excuse for not wiping off your rollers before you come in. Triad stands before Sutekh. He has one last thorn in his side. Ruby's secret. On a nearly dead world, the doctor enters a tent and finds a woman. She's been alone for a long time. Her and her baby daughter, Brindle. But she can't really remember any facts about how she came here, about what this planet was, about her husband. Not only life, but memory is dying in the death wave. He asks her if she has any metal, and she offers him her very last spoon. Oh, I just can't with this episode. It's so stressful and sad. And now, I'm all out of spoons. Psychology majors are loving that one. Turning back to her bassinet, the woman thinks her daughter died and she just forgot. The doctor thinks so too. But she doesn't have it in her to even feel sad anymore. She turns to dust and the doctor promises, this spoon will make a difference. He'll finally be able to stir his tea. No, I'm kidding. He needs real metal, not imaginary TARDIS metal to power up his technology. Ruby asks, why is Sutekh all wrapped up in a handy, easy-to-use Egypt theme? And the doctor explains it as cultural appropriation. Well, yeah, but not in the way you're thinking. I know Russell T is trying to present Sutekh as a member of his murderous row of twisted dark gods, but to be clear, Pyramids of Mars explain that Sutekh was a member of an alien race called the Osirians. They came to ancient Egypt and taught humanity how to build pyramids and other things. So you see, the Osirians didn't steal their identity from the ancient Egyptians. The Egyptians stole their culture from the Osirians. Cultural appropriation. Ruby wants to know, why now? Why is Sutekh attacking now? But when she asks that, an image of her mother appears on the TARDIS screen. The doctor starts to piece it together. In 2004, outside the church on Ruby Road, Sutekh saw Ruby's mother. Having traveled through all of time and space, the fact that he can't discern the identity of one woman is driving Sutekh mad. Okay, Ruby is freaking out. Who is she? What is her mother? Sutekh via Triad reaches out to Melanie. Holding the TARDIS screen, Ruby is shown an image of Roger Ap Williams, future Welsh Prime Minister and warmonger. He talks about mandatory DNA testing. They've never been able to find Ruby's mom, but she's still alive 20 years from now. They can find her DNA. Sutekh continues to talk to Mel, enticing her to join him. He wants Ruby's mother's name. Ruby can be tested and they can seek out a familial match.
Mel, you better keep watch. Sutekh service could be anywhere.
As the computer searches, snow begins to fall. The building experiences a tremor. They have a name. Ruby turns only to find Mel holding her hand inches from the doctor's face, now one of Sutekh's servants. Or, through the power of metric conversion, holding his hand meters from his face, is it? No, decimeter. No. Centimeters? That's it, centimeters. They're all teleported to Sutekh. Ruby and the doctor are the last two living things in existence. Once they're dead, Sutekh can do away with his servants and be alone in his perfect dead universe. The doctor tries to bargain, but he's thrown to the ground by the Osirian's telekinesis. Ruby will give him her mother's name.
You great big god of nothing.
Using the doctor's unbreakable rope and gloves, they put Sutekh on a leash. Earlier, when they held hands, the doctor could feel how cold Mel's body was. He knew what was coming, so he blows the whistle he got from the memory TARDIS, remote activating the original TARDIS. A panel opens up in the console and a laser blast propelling the TARDIS out of Sutekh's grip. The duo run inside, leashing the god to the time and space machine before dematerializing and dragging Sutekh into the time stream behind them. Although it is generally accepted as one of the great unknowable truths in history, it is a fact that at several key moments in time, the signing of the Declaration of Independence, Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo, Rudy Giuliani's press conference in front of a landscaping business, during all of these great moments, several pounds of jackal poop came flying out of the sky, usually hitting someone in the face to great comedic effect. Why? We may never know. Although a time-traveling alien going to war with a demonic god is suspected. The doctor is counting on a double negative as Sutekh's death energy infects the time stream and it's killing off the death wave he caused in 2024. Mel is alive. Unit is alive. Even Carla, Mrs. Flood, and Cherry are alive. All of Earth is alive, and it spreads across the universe. But now that creation is safe, the doctor has to do something he doesn't want to do. He's better than Sutekh. He represents life. But to save all life, he must kill Sutekh. He severs the rope, and Sutekh is lost into the time stream, burning up. Sue is at Unit. Yes, she's real, but by creating her, Sutekh did something good. She agrees to help out Unit in the future. Now, they finally have knowledge of Ruby's mother. Louise Miller, 35. a teen mother who had to give away her daughter to protect her from her stepfather's abuse. If she's this normal, why did she confound Sutekh? The doctor explains that her mother was important because they all made her important. It was the significance they attached to her that made her identity so important. So she was important because they thought she was. That's beautiful. What a unique thought. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to finish my secret ingredient noodle soup. Oh. They now know that Louise wasn't pointing at the doctor. She was pointing behind him at the sign that said Ruby Road. She was giving Ruby her name. They do find her, and the doctor is hesitant, but Ruby marches right into that coffee shop where Louise is. She introduces herself, and it slowly dawns on Louise.
You left me where I was safe. And I just want to say thank you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's you,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just this reminds me of all the children I've abandoned over the years. Oh, I'm not a father. I was just a very terrible babysitter as a teen. As Louise gets brought up on Ruby's life by Cherry and Carla, Ruby sneaks into the TARDIS. Ruby still wants to go with the doctor, but they might be able to get in touch with her father next. The doctor knows she's not coming. She's got a life to live here now with her family. That's greater than any alien planet or strange monster. He promises he will see her again. Yeah, but he never saw his granddaughter again. And that was his mistake. But Ruby has changed him, and now he truly appreciates family. They say their goodbyes.
And what happens, you might wonder, to that mysterious traveler in time and space known as the Doctor? His story ends in absolute terror. Night-night.
Oh yeah, you're not evil. Not you. Not the woman who recognized the TARDIS on sight and is dressed like a septuagenarian Cruella de Vil. And stop breaking the fourth wall. I don't need a bunch of fictional characters seeing me. Who is she? Mrs. Flood. And what brings the floods? Rain. Rearrange the letters. R-A-N. No, I've got nothing. So that was the finale. You know the drill by now. Let's take a closer look at Empire of Death. Well, these might be the biggest stakes we've ever played for. Yes, the Flux destroyed a part of the universe. Davros and the Daleks once almost destroyed reality outside of a pocket dimension. The Cybermen almost shut down a mall. Why are they my favorite monster? But in all those cases, at least there would have been survivors. Here, no survivors. Life, by the end, is just Sutekh, his servants, Ruby, and the Doctor. So I can appreciate the scale of Sutekh's ambition, at least. Hard to handle on a practical scale, as you can't really work into the budget seeing multiple alien races on multiple alien worlds being turned into dust. Whereas last episode was very slow and casual almost from the start, this episode takes off at a breakneck pace. They're racing from the dust, racing from Sutekh, racing to hold the memory TARDIS together. It's really just go, go, go for the first 20 minutes of this episode. Then it slows down. Let's talk about that one scene. The Doctor and the woman who's forgotten her life, played by Sean Clifford. It's an extremely somber and melancholy moment. She can't remember her planet, her husband. She can't even remember the death of her child. Eventually, she has nothing left to remember and she just fades away into nothing. Not exactly tragic, but there's a pervading feeling of loneliness throughout. Although logically, I do have to ask why the Doctor can't find metal except on this one tent on a dead world. I'll just assume the memory TARDIS is even harder to pilot than the real TARDIS. Also, go check out the Tales of the TARDIS show. It reunites classic companions and doctors to retell and rebroadcast the episodes they started. The final confrontation with Sutekh isn't bad, but just slipping a leash on his canine neck, it's not a great ending, although dragging him through history to kill his own death plague was a clever conceit. And the Doctor again becomes a monster to defeat an even bigger monster is a story beat we've hit plenty of times before. The final resolution of Ruby meeting her mother and then having to give up her life with the Doctor are both properly emotional moments. And I'll give Millie Gibson credit. She puts in her work here and the emotional weight of the scenes pay off. And as for Ncuti, of course he emotes. We got not one, not two, but 3 scenes of the Doctor crying. Although strangely enough, not when Ruby leaves him. Okay. Otherwise, he hits the Doctor beats well, and you can tell he's grown into this part. He gives the heroic speech. He gets angry when he feels they put the universe in danger, and even shows a surprising bit of fear when meeting Ruby's mother, but I have to suspect that was because he knew she'd stop traveling with him if her mother returned. No payoff on Susan Foreman, nor much of a payoff on Susan Triad. But it was a pleasure having Gabriel Wolfe back as the voice of Sutekh. I'm always glad that this show has a history and habit of reusing the original actors whenever possible. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Before you leave, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, click the bell for notifications, and please check out my Patreon page. It's patrons like you who help these videos get made. Hey, this was a fun episode that delivered payoff on the story of Ruby Sunday, at the same time bringing back a classic Doctor Who villain and making him a genuine threat. I really enjoyed this episode, and even the setup for Mrs. Flood, who I don't think is the Master. That's too obvious, but she could be. Well, I hinted at it. See you back here for the Christmas special, Joy to the World. Until then, this is You Know Who, and I'm your host, Brian Hines.